McKee, Patrick Brown, and Go Vols 24/7 here on campus on Tuesday of NC State Week. Tennessee continuing its preparation for the Wolfpack in primetime on ABC this weekend with the A-plus TV crew with Kirk Herbstreit on the call. We just got done speaking with Kelsey Pope and Willie Martinez. Also spoke to Cooper Mays, the veteran center leading the way. David Hobbs as well. His homecoming, you asked him about.
I did.
His homecoming.
Roster says he's from Concord, which is not quite Charlotte, but close enough.
Yeah, close enough. It's kind of like you living where you live. We just lump it in to Knoxville as a whole. With Kelsey Pope and the receivers, he seemed very pleased with how they performed in week one. I thought it was interesting. Squirrel White, Chaz Nimrod didn't get a lot of work in the slot, but he was still pleased with what they did, even if they didn't catch a lot of footballs. Then he said what they actually did on film was more gratifying than the statistics that some of the other receivers had.
Yeah, Ben, he said that this was Squirrel White's probably best game as a perimeter blocker, and one of the plays I broke down on X's and O's, it's on the site now. There's a good block from Squirrel White on a little swing pass to Dylan Sampson. So that's something that, as you mentioned, Pope said, is really gratifying to see how guys play without the ball. You kind of know what coverages they're going to get and stuff going into games, but they don't necessarily know how it's going to unfold with who's going to get the most targets and things like that. And I think that makes this receiving corps so difficult to defend, is that any one of these guys theoretically could go off. Squirrel was quiet. He might not be quiet this game. Dante Thornton was had the big game. Could be Brew McCoy next time. Could be Chris Brazzell. So they've got a lot of weapons who could go off at any point, and that's a luxury for this offense. And probably one of the other big things that we heard from Kelsey Pope is just how much these receivers love playing for Nico Iamaleava, and they know how good he is, and they want to play for him. They want to get the football from him, and that was something that really stood out. He said that he played quarterback back in the day, but he's only seen a few guys that were as talented as Nico is, where guys are just playing really hard and because they want to look good for him, because they know they're going to get the football and get a chance to make plays.
Yeah, they love playing for Nico. They also love playing for each other, which is the strength of this room, which is pretty remarkable because they have a lot of strengths in terms of their abilities and skill sets. But the strength of this room right now is there's only one football to go around, but they truly do love celebrating one another.
They all want the football. That's what good receivers do. They want the ball. Keyshawn Johnson, get me the dang ball. That's how they are. That's how they're wired. But as Pope said, when you work so hard like these guys do and you work together, it's easy to celebrate when other guys have success, even though you want your own success. So there's really good culture in that room. You saw what the play that Nathan Leacock made. He raved about that. He raved about how Squirrel and Chaz play without the football. When you've got a culture like that, you see things like that, and it's impressive that he's been able to get it to where it's at this point of the season.
Yeah, defensively, Willie Martinez talking about his secondary. Wasn't tested too much against Chattanooga, but was pleased with how they performed from an alignment, assignment, communication. Did say it needs to improve, and that's the jump that he's hoping to see from his group from week 1 to week 2.
Yeah, alignment and communication were two areas that he thought they should need to be better at, and certainly with what they're going up against this week with NC State, they're going to use some shifts, motions. They're going to move guys around within the offense, and they've got a veteran quarterback in Grayson McCall. So if you're a little bit off or a little bit out of position, you have a quarterback. You're going up against a quarterback with experience and with the ability as a passer and a runner to exploit it. So that's why they need to be a little sharper in those areas. You would expect that from game 1 to game 2. There's a lot of new faces back there. Christian Harrison making his first start. Will Brooks making his first start. Andre Trent has played a little bit, but I think that was still his 4th start. The cornerbacks are young, and in the case of the 2 starters on Saturday, were in their first games with Tennessee in this defense. So you would expect that to be an area where Tennessee gets better on defense, and NC State has some playmakers. So that group certainly was not tested against Chattanooga, but I think it will be in this game.
Yeah, one that you did not mention is Boo Carter, and Willie said that he was pleased with how Boo played, but it's obvious they're very curious to see how Boo performs against this level of competition.
Yeah, Boo had flashed a little bit, made a couple plays off the edge as a blitzer. That's obviously, I think, something that the staff knows that he can do, and they could continue to use him in that role. We'll have to see. Again, none of these guys have really been tested a lot in coverage. Can they hold up in man? Do they have the instincts to play zone and do those things? And that's for Boo, and for the rest of the group, they're going to see what these guys have. And I think they're excited about Boo. They want to continue to see him get comfortable and play within the structure of the defense. But man, he makes plays. He shows up when he's out there. Christian Harrison had a nice play too, but I think Boo has got a lot of potential there in that star spot.
Yep, Tennessee, NC State this Saturday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern at Bank of America Stadium on ABC. We'll have plenty of coverage on Saturday night, as the Crew will be in Charlotte. And of course, we've got coverage all week long at GoVols247.com. He's Patrick Brown. I'm Ben McKee.